Do you want to start or go?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Going into this last stretch of the season, kind of what's the mindset for you guys, and how does it sort of change after All-Star?
Oh, for me, it's just kind of learning the system, continue to get healthy, me and Ricky. For the group is to prepare for playoffs, and that's just holding each other accountable, holding ourselves accountable, and playing the type of basketball that I see in the second half of Philly game, and limiting our mistakes. So right now we're just tuning up, ramping up, and trying to get in a nice little groove, nice little rhythm. But because a lot of these guys don't have it, my job here is to try to give them the best I can of what a playoff-like atmosphere will be like. So that a lot of them don't have that experience, have playoff experience. So we're trying to prepare them for it individually, for myself, and as a group of just holding each other accountable.
Speaking of that experience, what do you feel like separates the good playoff teams from the great playoff teams, specifically in this post-All-Star stretch?
Discipline. The team that executes the most for the longer part of the game, for the most minutes of the game, is usually the team that wins, regardless of your experience or not. I feel like this team, they're very smart, high IQ, disciplined team. If we can stay consistent with that and work really hard and execute, I think we give ourselves a chance to get against anybody.
So when you have those conversations, Danny, with guys that haven't been where you've been and you're trying to impart that wisdom, what are you telling them to be prepared for?
Hostile environments. Every play, every possession is going to be intense. And, you kind of got to embrace it. You got to lose yourself in the moment, lose yourself in the game, but at the same time, be on your P's and Q's and execute the best you can and doing your job, not letting yourself down or your teammates down. And we're going to expect the most out of each other. So, just making sure that everybody said embrace the moment and being ready for a hostile environment.
In what way can you use the regular season to develop championship habits?
Taking every game like it's a playoff-like game. We have some good challenges ahead. Denver's a great team. Atlanta's another really good team. Toronto, and then we have obviously Brooklyn a couple times, Miami. Those are really good teams in the East. And we can use all those games to prepare for playoff-like games against those top teams, good teams, playoff teams, and use those as practice for the playoffs.
I know, obviously, you guys always look forward, but can you use the Philly game, too, as an example of playoff-like atmosphere?
For sure.
Environment?
100%. That's one of the toughest environments to play in. I've played in it as a team member and as an opponent, and I know how hard it is to play there. So that type of atmosphere is what we're going to have to get used to, be prepared for. And those type of teams, they're going to come out hot, especially at home. So for us to run on the road, we have to play like we did, for 48 minutes, like instead of 24 minutes in that second half. We played pretty well. But I've saw a lot of the weaknesses and strengths that we have and things that we need to attack and focus on in order for us to be successful against teams like that.
What stands out to you about the weakness that you guys need to address?
Well, I think defense, we're pretty strong defensively, especially when we're communicating. We have great rim protectors, and we can get a stop. I feel like they're very good at getting stops when they need to. Offensively, I think when we get static or we play in a half court, it's tougher for us. We have to get out and run more. So that's one of the keys. And there's a couple other things that I'm not going to share and tell everybody, but I think everybody knows the league most people in the league. It's like, all right, you either got to play defense to win championships, and offensively in a half court, playoffs going to be like that. You're going to get stagnant. You got to execute in half court, or if not, try your best not to play in half court, and that's by getting stops and actually running and getting out on the floor. We have bigs that can run, so we have to use that to our advantage.
You guys have already played. I mean, you just got here with 61 games. That's leading the NBA right now. There's only 21 games left. Is there any advantage to maybe having a little bit of a lighter schedule?
For sure. Being able to play these games fresh and be more intense with them. I guess I don't know how many back-to-backs we have left. I think maybe one or two. So we get an opportunity to where we don't have to rest guys as much, and we have the days in between to rest and actually get some more practice in and focus in and hone in on what we need to do to be better.
What's it like being a veteran, coming to a new team that some of those young guys will gravitate toward you, looking for that advice to go through, because this is their first time going through something like this. What's that like for you to be asked to?
I can probably get back to you in a week or so and let you know. I've only been here a couple of days, but I had a bit of experience of that in Memphis. They did make the playoffs last year. Talked to these guys, but a little bit, very few here and there. But it's me kind of being, let's say, the old guy, but being like the teacher, which is, I'm gonna say, new for me. It's something that I've been used to the last couple of years, which is a cool role to have. I said it's just hard to, I guess, describe it in words, and for guys they have to kind of see it and go through it. But it's also easier to build that rapport when you're out on the floor together and in battle. I haven't shared the floor with them much in practice or in games yet, so it'll be easier once we get a chance to know each other better in that aspect.
You had a busy break between the podcast, doing the appearances on ESPN. So how do you go from being an analyst to immerse yourself into the game again?
Over the years, you kind of figure out how to separate yourself from on the court, and I guess you try not to have a biased opinion when you're talking. When I do the analyst stuff, I try not to talk too much about my team or the conference of my team. I'll talk about Western Conference teams or teams, and I'll just give my unbiased opinion. And then you kind of lock in. I talk about it as a fan perspective or a coaching GM type. I try to. I'm not that good to be that, but everybody in the world thinks they're GM, and that's what most media people are. They're pretend GM. So I put that hat on, and then when I come here to be a player, I put the player hat on.
Were you the oldest guy in Memphis?
Yes, I was by far, I think. Sorry, I don't mean to take jabs at you guys.
Sorry.
But yeah, Memphis, I was, I think, Steven Adams, I think, was 30. I think he was the next oldest guy, but yeah, he's giving me jabs right back. He was the oldest guy in Memphis, yes.
What's it like to be the oldest guy on a roster?
It happened so quick. I was talking to, I was at Evan, and I forget his brother. I think he was talking to the Mobley brothers, and they're like, "Goes by fast." Now you were here. You were like the second round pick, 2009. I was like, "Yeah." I said, "It happens fast. You become, you're the young guy. Next you know, you're the vet, and then you go from the vet to the old guy really fast." I just looked around the locker room, like, "Damn, I'm the oldest guy here." It's strange at first, especially in Memphis because their whole staff was young, and most of them were my age or younger. It's a little weird, but it's also, I guess it's fun at times. I get a chance to actually interact with the players and the staff, and they get to pick my brain, and to feel like somewhat of importance, even though I'm not that important, but for them to make you feel important by asking you, well, how do they do things in this organization? How do you do things what can we do to be better? Which is great. Memphis was like that. They're here like that. They're in Cleveland. They're here the same way. They want to be better, and they try to find things that they can do or add to the group to make the organization better for the guys.
Channel your inner analyst. What was your reaction to Kevin Love getting bought out?
I mean, I don't know if everybody's seen that I commented on it. I was like, damn. I only got a chance to be his teammate for a couple days. It's crazy because me and Kevin go back. I actually had him as a recruit at Carolina. I think I was a freshman or sophomore. He came in. So we haven't got a chance to be teammates in like 20 years now. It's been a while. I was looking forward to actually being his teammate for a little bit, even though he was not playing. So we shared locker room for a couple of days. But I'm happy for him. I know it's a better situation for him. Anytime you can see a guy go somewhere else to fit, their career or their family, whatever it is that better, it's always a better, like a feeling, a good feeling for them.
How do you, as teammates, not take that personally, though?
I've been around this league for a while, so I know the business side of it. I don't take a lot of things personally. I've been traded a couple times, and there's no love lost between those organizations. I guess it just takes time, and for some guys to understand that. Obviously, some guys there's always a little bit of personal matter, but most of the time it's business. And me being in the business, I can understand it. Being at 14.